In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Welcome to Rap in Order, the interrogation of a hip-hop album, where we take some of the culture's most beloved hip-hop albums, put them on the stand, see if they stood the test of time. Now let's see who we got on the stand
court.
today. Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man.
Shirt check. Oh, I didn't know you picked that one up.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to talk. Shout out to Rob, our brother Robbie Digital.
Yeah. That's a good pickup. I wish they would have did something a little different with that drop. Because and for listeners, he's referencing Taurian shirt. He has on the Tyler drop from Supreme.
Yes.
I wish they would have, like, since his history is so embedded in Supreme,
I agree.
they should have took a throwback photo of him wearing Supreme.
Rob said that too, and I'm like, I don't know why they didn't do that. That was just like a missed opportunity.
Such a layup, and it would have made the shirt go even crazier.
I agree with you. I think they should and I'm pretty sure they have old archive shirts of him when he was younger wearing Supreme and shit like that. I don't understand how they I think that shirt probably would have been even harder to get.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah,
and probably even done like an Odd Future type. Thing.
So something like a picture of all of them in the oldie video, because some of them had on Supreme t-shirts.
Yeah. But nonetheless, fire. Let's see what we got going. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I watched Drumline last night with Sarah.
how you
it was her first time. Sarah hates Nick Cannon.
Okay.
So she's never seen Love Don't Cost a Thing, but she also hates Christina Milian. So I couldn't get her to watch that. So I was able to get her to watch Drumline, and we watched it, and she enjoyed it. It was funny though, because Sarah has never experienced a HBCU. So seeing when they were at the party and the fraternity guys and so sorority girls started line stepping and stuff like that, she was like, this is so stupid, they're line dancing. I was like, but it's like a thing, it's cultural. So just explaining that, and it's funny because when you're talking to somebody, oh, by the way, my girlfriend, she's Puerto Rican. So, I'm not I feel like listening to be like, is your girlfriend white? No, she's not white. She's Puerto Rican. Even though there are sororities and fraternities and white culture and in Hispanic culture, but she just hasn't experienced the HBCU experience.
Yeah.
So that's something that I am used to. I went to a HBCU, shout out to Edward Waters in Jacksonville, Florida. So, and then I have a lot of family members that are in frats and sororities and stuff like that. So for me, it's normal, and to see the battle of the bands and stuff. So it was actually funny hearing her commentary on it and just being remember when Nick Cannon's playing the drum and he walks over and plays on the homeboy drum and he socks him?
Yeah.
So that was funny too, because she was like, what the fuck? And I was like, nah, that's kind of, disrespect.
It's crazy because people forget how next up Nick Cannon was. People really forget that. People forget that they was trying to make him the next Will Smith. He was supposed to be on that level. So you had movies like Drumline, you had Love Don't Cost a Thing. Is not on that caliber, but it was a cult classic. A lot of people love that movie.
I think the mistake, sorry to cut you, the mistake on Nick Cannon was that they didn't put him in the right movie. What changed Will Smith's trajectory was Independence Day. He wasn't put in a movie like that. I think Michael B. Jordan was on that way, but now he's almost 40. Michael B. Jordan being the next Will Smith is not a thing anymore. But I think that's usually what happens. I think whoever they feel like is the next actor up, they need to be put in a blockbuster film, a film that's or something, or a big budget movie, because you don't know what is going to hit or what is going to miss. But putting Nick Cannon in these movies that are only really gonna blow up in smaller markets is cool, but you kind of gotta Nick Cannon had a very broad spectrum of who he could appeal to. Back then, before he started having all those kids and shit like that, he was very appealing. He was very safe. So I think Nick Cannon is great too, but he was definitely supposed to be the next Will Smith, but he just didn't get any of the movies.
Yeah, those type of movies.
Did you know that Drumline is is loosely based on Dallas Austin's life?
I feel like that sounds familiar.
That and ATL. He took elements from his childhood, his upbringing, and put it into both of those films. So it's not bar for bar his life, but some of his experiences growing up before he started working with LaFace Records.
Interesting. Okay.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Did she like the movie?
She did. She actually did like the movie. So now I'm really trying to get her to watch Love Don't Cost a Thing.
Yeah, Love Don't Cost a Thing is a good movie.
Yeah, it's just really funny because the reason why that conversation came up because when Ruby Rose said that Drewski like paid, like it was a publicity stunt.
Oh yeah.
People were using that, like the Love Don't Cost a Thing storyline.
Yeah.
Sarah was like, I don't get the reference. So then I was like, oh, Love Don't Cost a Thing. Like let's watch it. She was like, Christina Milian and Nick. I can't take both of them at the same time. And I was like, all right.
Oh, why people don't like Christina Milian? I don't feel like she bothered nobody.
She don't.
Yeah, she just exists.
Yeah, she just exists.
Fine.
Yeah, she just exists and she's just fine as a motherfucker. That's it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of those these days.
Yes.
That just exist and they just fine. Yeah. They don't bother nobody.
Yeah. Like, well, no, she do. She actually like hit somebody with a car. The baby's baby mother.
Oh, Danny Lay.
Yeah, Danny Lay is fine, but she nearly killing people.
Yeah, but she's also like a respected choreographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
top
like
notch.
So she's up there. So she's actually earning her keep a little bit.
Yeah.
You
want to know who is killing it right now? Just thinking about it, thinking about dancers, right? Tiana Taylor. She has like 4 movies like lined up, like her calendar is like full. Like she got that divorce and she, I guess like, whatever alimony she had to pay to Iman, like she was like, all right, let me get to it. Let me get to work. Yeah. Like, and I'm really proud of her. Like,
and it's about time too, man. Because I think, Tiana Taylor was making solid music. She just wasn't getting the respect that she deserved. And she did what I think a lot of artists want to do, but don't have the balls to. She just was like, all right, I'm done. And she really stuck to it and just focused up on something else. Because we knew the well wouldn't drive for her. We knew that she would have something else.
Too talented.
Yeah.
So she has some...
She got different avenues.
She got some big time movies on the horizon, like with some like really like major like stars movies she's gonna be in. She's making her directorial debut with the Light Feet movie. So I'm excited to see.
She gotta get that shit right.
Yeah, she do.
I know a lot of people that like.
Oh yeah, you and me both. So like I got faith that she will. I think that she she's gonna like do what she has to do.
Gotta get that right. That's a huge look for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But we got 4th quarter on the way. Anybody you looking for?
For album wise, I mean, the Boogeyman. He's coming.
Who's the Boogeyman?
You know the Boogeyman, certified Boogeyman. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Kendrick Duckworth.
Yeah. So that's the one. That's the one right now. I think whatever he drops is really gonna solidify, or whatever he drops is gonna cause a divide in any way, shape, form.
Absolutely.
You got Super Bowl coming up. I think you think we're gonna get 4th quarter or 1st quarter?
1st quarter.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense, right? Because you want to build off the hype of the Super Bowl.
I think so.
Usher dropped this shit damn near same day.
Yeah. I think him and Justin Timberlake did the same thing with their projects. I think that we're gonna get a single in the 4th quarter though.
I need that Broccoli song, whatever that shit called. I need that.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
He better not fuck around. I need that song.
We'll see.
But yeah, I'm looking for Kendrick. I'm looking for Cole. Cole is gonna drop. Why not? This Drake and Party album is gonna drop. I'm looking for this Gibbs. Gibbs is
Oh yes,
got a re-up with Madlib coming.
Oh yeah, and that's gonna be magical.
Yeah. So
and
that
he's
one
quiet.
is coming soon. He's been quiet for a change. You know how he is.
Only time you can get him to talk if you post a picture of him and Don Cheadle.
Oh yeah, he'd be like, "Fuck y'all."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just to name a few. What about you?
Cardi B.
Okay, you think that's 4th quarter?
She said it is. Like she keeps telling us, and everybody keeps telling me to be patient and just wait. So I'm waiting.
We'll see, man. I don't know. But we shall see.
We shall see.
A lot of pressure on her, and the longer she waits, the more pressure it is.
Did you see the bullshit that they said that Denzel Washington was going to be Dormammu in Doctor Strange 3?
Yeah, man. I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that. Somebody hit me up, Evan, actually. He's like, yo, you think this real? I'm like, nah, bro, I don't think that's real.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know with Marvel. And also, I would like to think of someone of Denzel Washington's caliber. They would have announced that shit at the expo.
Yeah, they would have.
It wouldn't have just been in a tweet.
That's not. I don't think that's something that would come out like that.
It would have been a huge rollout, like how they did for RDJ. and it to make him, to properly introduce him, not in a tweet.
And I don't think that, like, I mean, okay, on one side, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe the best way they could do it is get Denzel to just go and do voiceovers and do that, right? But I'm like, nah, man, they like, this is Denzel fucking Washington. Even though like they got Christian Bale do that horrible ass character and Thor, I'm like, nah, man. I think Kevin Feige knows what's up. But I just thought about it, like, you know, like Doctor Strange being like, Dormammu, I came to bargain. And then Denzel's like, my nigga.
My nigga. But yeah, I would love to see. I hadn't even thought about Denzel being in the MCU at all. Like I didn't think about it. I also don't think, I would love to even hear his thoughts on Marvel movies. Yeah. Has anyone even asked him about that?
I don't even think so, bro. And sometimes like it makes
I'm sure him and Samuel L. Jackson have talked about it.
Have to.
In some way.
Have to. Got you.
Yeah.
Probably. But what movie we got? I mean, what album we got?
Right. Oh, today?
Yeah.
So this guy, man, I feel like, you know, I was thinking, this guy, his legacy and his impact on the early 2000s in hip hop gets forgotten about a lot. And he had a huge impact. I remember he actually took a slight, he felt slighted when Jay-Z didn't name him in the Only Dudes Moving Units, and Pimp Juice and Us.
Right. And they was cool.
Yeah. He felt slighted in that. I didn't think it was that serious because, you know, you just, when you rhyming, you know, Only Dudes Moving Units and Ludacris, like just naming people, like it's just too much. You know, I think Hov went with what sounded cool, like he always does. But I think this guy has always had a chip on his shoulder. He released, and his impact in that time frame, you had the videos, everybody was comparing his videos to Missy and Busta Rhymes. Everybody was comparing his impact to Busta Rhymes around that time. And I think the animated tag gets thrown around a lot. I think he was one of those guys in the early 2000s that was able to keep up with a lot of different MCs that were already credible at that time. And yeah, and I'm talking about Ludacris. Ludacris released Back for the First Time, which is technically his official debut in the year 2000. It was led by the single What's Your Fantasy? It was released October 17th. That was his debut. You have production on here from Bangladesh, I-20, Jermaine Dupri, Organized Noise, The Neptunes, and Ludacris himself. And it had features from UGK, DTP, Trina, Pastor Troy, and a few more. The album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard charts, selling 133,000 copies. Just imagine the scale of rap back then, where debuting at number 4, you sold 133,000 copies. What a different time. But yeah, What's Your Fantasy was a huge song for him.
It was.
You know, you had this guy with like in these pockets that like we just didn't hear at that time frame. What's Your Fantasy, when you listen to it, it's such a dirty and risque song, but it was a huge single. Like that shit like that just didn't translate like that back then, you know, and he made it work so well and made it a commercial song. What were your thoughts on this album when it first came out?
So when this album first came out, I didn't hear it. Like I knew the singles, and I knew who he was because like my mom was living in Atlanta. So when I would go down there, I would hear him on the radio as Chris 𝘉𝘬𝘍𝘬, and the Chris 𝘉𝘬𝘍𝘬 and Poon Daddy show, and Lala Anthony was on the show as well. So I was aware of him. I knew like the Incognito independent album was out and everything like that. And like Ho was already like a popular song. So when What's Your Fantasy came out, I was like confused. I was like, debut, because I was already aware. I just thought he was like a down south rapper, and I knew that a lot of rappers down south didn't make their way up to New York. But so like that was like me not understanding how like the industry works and everything like that, because he was still on the radio. So like seeing the video out and like girls, like, you know, around that time, let's see, 99, I was 13, 14 years old. Yes, I'm old, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you know, a lot of girls was like, you know, rapping the lyrics and shit like that, and I was like, okay, like, you know, like, you know, some girls was watching the same porn I was watching. I was like, all right, cool. Like, they was in the shit. So it was something like that I was realizing. And I I recognized him as somebody that like I was like, yo, he's nice, like he can rap, like that's something that like I just thought to myself like early on, and then I remember like the whole Def Jam South thing, like you know, Scarface being the president of Def Jam South, even though that was kind of just like that was just like a thing to try to like
capitalize on the moment that the South was having.
The South, yeah, like that was like you know, I really thought so. I was like, that's so fucking cool. Like Scarface, so like you know, running the southern part of label. Like and I remember like thinking when I went to Atlanta, I wonder what the Def Jam South office is. There's no fucking office. But yeah, so I didn't listen to the album initially, right? Obviously I've listened to the album since, but like when it first dropped and when I was a kid, like I was so like consumed by like what I was into. Like I listened to some of the hip hop, but I was like consumed by Cash Money and No Limit. And like that's Cash Money, No Limit, obviously Rockefeller shit, Rough Riders, like, you know what I'm saying? I had like my West Coast Snoop Dogg shit, like, so I had like my things I was already into, but as time went on and I listened, like, and I really like listened to this project or like revisiting this project for this episode, like I listened to it and I was like, yo, the production on this album is great. And like what I also like thought was dope and like missed is like how much like Ludacris like believed in Lil Fate and I-20.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
And I love I-20's delivery. Like his voice has so much authority in it. And like I was just like, damn, like I-20, he looks like evil 𝘠𝘩𝘕 the God.
He does.
And like I just like that's like what stood out the most to me. And I also thought like, why the fuck did he wait so long he waited too long to give Shawnna an opportunity. Like she should have been the first artist besides him on DTP to put out a project.
Shawnna could have been a fucking superstar. Like she could really fucking rap.
Yeah, he, you know, and 2 Chainz touched on that as well. Like they got like a lot of opportunity and they got like a lot of things done. And I had like a small period of time being around DTP camp. Shout out to Shay. But like it just seemed like Ludacris, like, and it's like, what can you do? Like Ludacris was selling records. So it's like, he was like focused on like his shit. Like, and he definitely did the DTP projects.
Yeah.
But
Shawnna, Chingy came out and kind of jumped the line because he took off.
Yeah, he took off, right? Yeah. Like it was a no-brainer. But Shawnna should have been the first artist on DTP to put out a project. Yeah, that's something. So that was something that like I really, really like took like, oh man, like they kind of like, you know, they took too long.
I agree. I think with the way that Luda was moving, you know, at this time frame, everything was kind of just lined up properly. And for me, going to this album, I bought it pretty early on. Ooh. I remember I bought this album after hearing I think it was Southern Hospitality. When Southern Hospitality came out, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy this. And I went to the store where my aunt took me to the store and we was looking for albums and stuff, or she let me look for albums. And I remember grabbing this, like, oh yeah, this got Southern Hospitality. What's Your Fantasy? He 2 for 2. All right, let's see what it's about. And I remember hearing it and the first song coming on, dun, 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 dun. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then him just rapping the way that he was, like, I be that nigga named Luda, alert, alert. I was like, oh, all right. Let's see what this is about. Okay. And I think the way that he carried this album from early on, like it was really nostalgic for me to tap back into it because I didn't realize how much I sat with this album back then. Yeah.
So that opening record, like really, really, really fucking goes the fuck off. Like, so I remember like when like I would like drive and like I would like play this album. And like the way, like how, like I want to hear this on a really good system.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like important. I know like they had those speakers up to the fucking max, bro. And it was such like a good introduction. Great project and everything. Like I said,
I also actually think he hasn't missed with intros
at all.
His intros have always been good. Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder, like, you know how like you know, people say like, yo, who's gonna be like the voice of God when Morgan Freeman dies? I think Ludacris would be a good replacement.
Luda can do a lot of things with his voice. Yeah. I could see him leaning into some shit like
I'm like, why is he not doing more voiceover? Why is he not the voice for cartoons? Like he has like he's one of those people that just has like a great voice, is very clear. And I guess that, you know, that comes from like radio or whatever. Like I want to hear Ludacris and Joe Budden have a conversation.
They haven't had an interview before?
No.
Interesting.
But they both have radio voices. Like Ludacris is morning show, Joe Budden is late night. But they're both like great. They have great voices. Like it reminds me of, remember in the movie, I know I'm like all over the place. Remember in the movie Ray, the guy that would introduce Ray Charles, I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, shit.
The dude that got Ray to fire his boy. I hated that nigga, man.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
I hate him in every talking about. Yeah, I hate him in every movie he's in, bro. I hated him in 5 Heartbeats. I just hated him for, like, just cause. Hate that nigga.
But yeah, solid intro that takes us into Game Got Switched, which is produced by Organized Noise.
Yes.
How'd you feel about this one?
You know, he like it's a cool song. Like, you know, like Ludacris, like Ludacris absolutely makes sure that like he lets it be known like he is like a rapper's rapper. Like he's an MC. Like dudes, like people talk shit when he not there, but if he walk into a room, like they know, like, you know what I'm saying, he's gonna get his shit off, right?
That's true. Like, but I think that's the thing that comes down. That's the thing that's always been a mystery to me, though. It's like, why do people talk shit? Because when you look at his discography, it's not like it's the best discography in a sense of like.
I think his discography is strong as hell.
Yeah, but I think it starts to tell like the first 3 solid. You know, Back for the First Time, Word of Mouth, and I think the third one is Chicken and Beer, which some people say is his best one. And then his 4th one, Red Light District, and then it kind of starts tailing off, especially
Theater of the Mind is very slept on to me.
Yeah. Theater of the Mind, that's the one with the Hov and Nas song, right?
That was like where he took a more serious approach. I really liked that project, and we'll get into that later on. But I have a question. Is Ludacris a good representation of Atlanta?
He wouldn't come to mind when I think of representations of Atlanta.
Is that because when you think of Atlanta, like you think like heavy country accent, because I realized that like some people, they have an idea of what they think about Atlanta, and like some people don't fit that. So like Jermaine Dupri and Ludacris, right?
I was just gonna say, I think, yeah.
You think when you think of Atlanta, you think of Jermaine?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He's
because like for me, like I remember like some people was like, is Jermaine Dupri really from Atlanta? I was like, yes, like born and raised. Like it's just that like he, you know, his father's a music executive, so like he was exposed to a lot more. So like, you know, he grew up, you know, kind of like privileged, but like so like his accent probably isn't like as heavy as like, you know, somebody like Sean Paul from the Youngbloods and shit like that.
Right.
But, you know, like, yeah. And it's very interesting to me because like there are some people who say that they feel like Ludacris is like just like a rapper. Like he's not, it's not a regional thing because of his accent. Like you talk to 2 Chainz, you know he's from Atlanta. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, but or you talk to somebody like a T.I. or whatever like that. But like Ludacris, you just like, he's just Ludacris.
Yeah.
You know, and I
think that's another thing too, that people kind of just have a hard time when they can't just place people right away.
Right.
So like, you know, Jermaine Dupri, I always feel is synonymous with Atlanta. You know, you got things like the fucking sign that was there. Is it still there?
The So Def sign, not right now.
Okay. So the So Def sign, I mean, Welcome to Atlanta, which ironically Ludacris is on. But I think his verse is more Atlanta coded. His verse, he's naming different landmarks in the city, you know? There's just different people like T.I., like all these people. T.I. synonymous with Bankhead. Like what hood is Ludacris tied to? Does he rap about where he's from?
No, he doesn't.
It's probably another thing.
Yeah, he doesn't do that. And it's because like he's from Atlanta by way of Ohio, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Like he moved at a young age.
Yeah.
And like I think that like, you know, like he, you know,
And I think with T.I., I don't know shit about Atlanta hoods, but I know about Bankhead because of T.I. or College Park, you know. These places come up, and that's how they're tied to these people because they talk about it.
Okay, that's a good point. I guess I just think about, 'cause I'm like, Ludacris is very much like Atlanta based, because like, you know, he talks about like strip clubs, he talks about women, he references like food and stuff like that. But the one thing that is missing, I think you hit the nail on the head, he doesn't mention a hood. He doesn't mention like what part that he's from. Yeah. And I wonder, and I think that's because like maybe it's probably not much for him to say about where he's from, the part of Atlanta. It's probably like a really nice area.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like
shit,
I think that
even the newer artists, you got 21 Savage, Zone 6.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
you're right. That's and you want to know what's funny? In Atlanta, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like when I remember when I moved to Atlanta, and like at my basketball games, like they will be in there like screaming Zone 6, Zone 3, 4th Ward, like all that shit. Like that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like wherever you from, whatever, like that. And then like they saying like the home, like the projects or the homes. So they'd be like Trestle Tree, you know what I'm saying? Like Born Homes, like these places that like so many places don't even exist no more. Like these projects like are like shut down or whatever. Like they be like, I'm from Mechanicsville. Like it's a place called Mechanicsville.
Oh
like,
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
like it's like these different areas where people was from, and like it was like a thing. So, and it was like, I was like, this like gang, like they didn't have street gangs and shit like that. They had like what neighborhood you from.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else stands out on here?
Hoodstuck, I hated the beat. Yeah, like I was just like, and it's funny because on Hoodstuck, he's mentioning like the different hoods in this song. And I was like, he probably did that to like, you know, get like people hyped, because like when they play this at like sporting events, like that's like a big deal, right? And like I was just like, okay, like so this is like Luda kind of like, you know, saying like how like things can happen in the hood and you can get caught like in a vicious cycle.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I get that, and like he's naming the different hoods and everything like that, and how things can happen.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And I guess that was like his like I-20's way, like him like mentioning I-20. I think I-20 probably was like his probably most like close way to like the street, because I-20 was definitely like a street nigga.
Yeah. Word. Yeah, because I mean the hoods that he's naming, like he's not naming specific hoods. He's just like East Side, West Side.
That's the thing.
North Side. Yeah. Okay.
That is so funny, bro. You could be. You like if you from like let me think, like all right, so let's say like the East Side, right? Like so you from the East Side of Atlanta, and you could be like Zone 3, but like I believe 4th Ward and Zone 3, like they not that far from each other. But so like if they go somewhere, but it's like a bunch of South Side niggas there, they'll all band together and beef with the people from the South. Like it's so like coded, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I've seen it.
See, but even just hearing that, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
There's an East Side and West Side everywhere.
Yeah, there's an East Side, West Side, South Side, North Side, everywhere, right? Yeah. Or like North Side ain't like North Side, like that's where all the rich people live. So like ain't nobody even saying that shit. But like the other three, like is like poverty, and like people are like really repping that shit to like they can't no more, like till they out of their breath, and like they will like fight. I've been to like football games, like we've had football games at like other schools and shit like that. Mind you, that's just like going to a fucking NFL game.
Yeah.
And like they're like my friends like in Atlanta, my friends call me T-Dog. They be like, T-Dog, let's go. About like, come on, let's go home. Like I'm like, all right, cool, we leaving. And then we like look back as we go into the like the bus, to the MARTA bus, and you just see more like just a fucking stampede, because somebody pulled out a gun, something happened, like it never fucking fails, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Growing up, like finishing, like going to high school in Atlanta from 2002, from my junior year to my senior year, like experiencing certain things. Like I was like, people say New York is dangerous. Fuck out of here. Everybody in Atlanta got guns
and license to carry now. Yeah, man. All right, so let me see what else. Oh, Get Off Me with Pastor Troy.
Oh,
made me realize I miss hearing Pastor Troy,
bro.
I haven't heard. I don't even know what he's up to.
He got that wrestling belt. I know that. He's chilling, bro. Like, you know, like the last I heard of him, like I think he was talking about like he made like comments about like transgender, and that was like a really big thing. And like I think he kind of just said, all right, fuck it. You know what? I'll just do my local shows, get my money. I'm staying on social media. And I think that's like it. Like I think that what happened. I think he got turned off by that.
Okay. Well, Get Off Me was a solid one. Mouthing Off was my shit. Four Eyes.
Yeah.
I like when he had like he did. Luda went on like a solid run of having these stripped down freestyle sessions on his albums.
Yeah.
And I really like this one.
I do too. I was like, okay, this is, and I was like, all right, this is a funny freestyle. Like I like it. Like
Four Eyes, I don't even know where he is. He bodied it. I don't even know what he's up to these days.
Yeah, at all. Like it's funny though, because like Ludacris had like, you know, some really good MCs around him and shit. And like it was pretty much like, hey, like, you know, you like they reap the benefits and stuff like that, like because like Ludacris was like bringing in so much.
Yeah.
But like I really wish that he developed DTP because it's like after he decided to stop rapping, like nothing like took off.
Nothing happened.
Like
that. Low Fate. All of them.
The one thing is that like 2 Chainz don't say nothing bad about Ludacris, but you could tell that like they're not good.
Yeah, you can tell.
And I really I've never heard from anybody like exactly what. Like nobody said anything.
I think we would have definitely seen them catch up at some point.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Like they like it's like they don't cross paths, like nothing. Like I don't hear like you don't hear. It's just something that like I'm just very curious about. I would like to know.
He has another song on here that I thought aged very well. Too many niggas, not enough hoes. That one. Because he has a line on there where he goes could have signed with Puff, but I puff pass.
I'm pretty sure. I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, you like, look at that now and it's like, oh shit, okay. You know,
that was smart. I mean, he got his own label imprint. Like that was the best thing he could have did because like people forget that Puff has strong ties in Atlanta because God rest his dead, Kim Porter was from Georgia.
Yeah.
And like she had like a lot of stuff going on down there. Like that's the reason like, you know, he had a restaurant Justin's down there. He threw like a lot of parties down there. And then he linked up with Kenny Burns, who also is like prominent in Atlanta, and like there are other people that he worked with because like Puff was like known for like throwing the best parties and having the best street teams. Signed 112, you know, like he had like a lot of ties to Atlanta and shit. But I'm pretty sure like Ludacris was on the radar, but it's like it went like what Ludacris did was brilliant, man. I'm so glad that like, you know what I'm saying, he didn't come up under another entity. Like Puff was an artist already, and like he wasn't gonna give Ludacris what he really needed.
He really carved out his own lane. And then one song on here that I like only because of the feature is Stick 'Em Up with UGK. It kind of made me forget. I almost forgot that he had a song with UGK.
I didn't like I never think about it.
Yeah.
But that was like a rite of passage. Like, you know, you either get a song with UGK, you get a song with Scarface.
Yeah. He has a song with both of them.
Yeah. So that was like who you worked with back then if you was coming up from the South. Like,
yeah.
You know.
Agreed. And I think what it is with Stick 'Em Up, it's just not believable for Ludacris to have gangster raps.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just not, and I think that's another thing that kind of hinders Luda because people just don't know how to pinpoint his content. You know, like it's anytime you think you could pinpoint his content, he kind of flips it in a different way. It worked to his advantage in the 2000s in a lot of ways, but I think a lot of people kind of got tired of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. All right, so next song I want to get into is Ho.
Oh,
I couldn't believe they played this song on the radio.
I know.
I was like mind blown. I was like, yo, like I remember I was in the car and I thought like did I find like a station that I'm not supposed to be listening to?
Is this Sirius XM?
Yeah, like I just didn't know, bro.
Yeah. The way that Ho crossed over was pretty funny. I think the way that did, and Luda was smart, man. I think the way that he played with the words a little bit, reach up in the sky for the ozone layer, like all those little silly like things that he did, was why the song worked. Cause I don't think they sang the chorus on the radio. Like it would just kind of do that.
In Atlanta, they did.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But over here, because I came here at the time too, they wasn't saying that as the chorus. But everything else in the song they was playing.
I heard that song.
And I thought it was a fucking genius song back then.
I recorded it on the radio, and I came out to New York because I was like, my mom was, I was visiting her, but I still was going to school out in Long Island, and I like played it for my friends. They was like, what is this, like a parody song? Like I was like, no, it's this nigga named Ludacris. He got this song. It's called Ho. Like they couldn't believe it. And and then like we would just like we would say it because like playing basketball, like you miss a shot, they were like, oh, you a hoe. You miss a shots, hoe? Yeah. Like so like, and obviously sometimes guys would get mad and fight would break out. But like, yeah, like we just started saying that, like, you's a hoe. We just started using that shit.
Yeah, it you know, it hasn't aged like the best, but it's still a fun song. Southern Hospitality. Now, this is a very, what?
It's the best song.
Okay. This is a very slept on Neptune's beat. I don't think this beat gets talked about enough.
Yeah. I want to talk about how there are artists early on that got some crazy beats from the Neptunes. It's Ludacris and Nori. I think got like the creme de la creme of production from the Neptunes.
Yeah, I think so too. That's one thing we didn't talk about either. I want to check out that Piece by Piece movie. I haven't seen it. The Pharrell movie.
Okay. Yeah. I had to think about it. I'm like, I just called it the Pharrell Lego movie.
Though. Oh yeah. Check that out.
I want that mother like, yeah, because literally like from what I'm seeing, like it's literally his life story.
Yeah.
With Legos.
Like it's a fresh take. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. What else on here? Is there anything on here that you absolutely don't like?
Oh. Fat Rabbit, that was a song that was on the Incognito album. I wasn't really like crazy about that one.
Fat Rabbit was a good time.
Okay. Which one is this? Got Me Switched.
That's Game Got Switched?
Oh, Game Got Switched. There you go.
Yeah. Too many niggas. Not
I was like, okay, like
the video game type beat I kind of liked.
It just, you wanna know what it is? Like, I listened to this project and I'm just like, all right, like Luda, like he knew what he was doing. Like this was gonna get like people rowdy and like jumping and shit like that. And it just didn't age well for me. It's not something that like it's not a go-to listen for me. So it's something that I'm not excited about.
I get you.
So for me, yeah, like this project, like I said, give me Southern Hospitality and Ho and I'm good.
I can respect that. I think so the What's Your Fantasy remix, that had Trina, Foxy, Shauna.
When we first got it, like I thought that shit was the best tasting sliced bread. Listening to it now, I'm like, this was not needed. This was
necessary. Foxy was messy. Remember her verse?
Ooh, yeah.
Messy as hell. She said, get it right on X, fucked him, check, right to the next. So which was very ballsy for her to say because there was it wasn't like public knowledge at the time, but like she was
married to Corrupt. And she was engaged to Corrupt. She was fucking DMX. So DMX and Corrupt had beef.
Yeah.
That was like a thing. And like DMX was shitting on Foxy Brown. Mind you, DMX was married. Like it was just like a bunch of like messy shit.
It was a mess. And for her to say that on a song was crazy. I remember hearing that and I was like, wait, what'd she say? She fucked DMX? Like, I'm in like 7th grade. I was like, she fucked DMX?
Yeah, bro. Like,
that was crazy, man. But let's see. What else on here? Are you ready for your review?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's hear it.
It's a middle of the road album. I give it 3 out of 5 waffles. It doesn't suck by any means, but it's just that like, I really don't need the album cuts. I'm good for the standout tracks, and that's it.
Okay. I can echo that sentiment, and I'll actually give it a 3.5. I think the singles on here are really strong. There are some album cuts on here, and it's just a nostalgic value for me. Because I used to sit with this album a lot. Okay. A lot of the moments on this album I really hold close. And it's hard for me to separate ties from. You know, Bigger Than What's Your Fantasy, You Got a Problem is just such a banger for me. Fat Rabbit is good. I remember just being geeked off of hearing Timbaland use the same baby sample from All You Got Somebody. But other than that, I think it was a great introduction for Ludacris and the type of artist that he was gonna be. we're having like a good balance of like silly content, but also showing you that he can actually rap his ass off. I think this album did a good job of that, and he only elevated from here. So
yeah, he did. He definitely got better. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
he
saying?
got
So that was a cool thing for me.
yeah. So listeners, watchers, I would encourage you guys to check this out. You know, Ludacris once upon a time wasn't just in Fast and Furious movies. He actually
Family.
Yeah. He actually was making music, and he was damn good at it at some point. So check it out. Let us know what you think. I'm First Class Regg.
I'm Taurian B.
And we're out of here.
I'll catch you guys next time. Dun dun.